We've had two amazing groups of speakers come here and give you the opportunity to hear some first-hand information regarding Israel, regarding October 7th, and today is not going to be any different. The two gentlemen that I'm getting ready to introduce to you right now are members of the Israel Defense Forces. They have been upfront and involved in what happened October 7th and what has happened since then. They're going to spend the next 25 to 30 minutes sharing with you some information that you can't get anywhere else. I got an opportunity to spend some time with them on Monday. My son has had an opportunity to spend time with them over the last 2 days. They are fantastic ambassadors for Israel. They are fantastic ambassadors for the IDF. And I'm going to ask you today to spend the next 25 or 30 minutes leaning in and engaged in what's going on. Because what they want to share with you affects us not only as Americans, but as Christians as well. So if you will please give a warm welcome to Dean and Nadine.
Thank you for being here. First and foremost, I want to thank Moral Hearts Alliance. I want to thank your school, Victory. I want to thank to all the organizations that made this possible for us to be here. And actually, that's something that I always say when I come to speak to students. Usually, people are coming here to get inspired, but since we've been talking in colleges and high schools, we are the ones that are coming here and are inspired by you. So I also want to thank you and round of applause for yourself. So thank you very much. All right, so we don't have, let's do this. So if we can click, we don't have a click here. Perfect, so I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name is Dean Cohen. I'm a soldier in the Israeli Special Forces in Sayed Golani, best unit by far. I'm so with you. And then I'm 29 years old, and currently I'm living in California, and I'm a student at California State University, Northridge.
Thank you, Dean. And thank you really so much for hosting us and welcoming us. And first of all, I'll apologize for my English. I know it's not the best, but I'll try my best. And my name is Nadav Israeli, 26 years old, from Ashkelon. Ashkelon is a city right next with the border with Gaza. Okay, I basically just raised the border over there. I served 4 years in the Special Forces Maglan unit. I was a sniper and a commander. And I moved to California 2 years ago. That's a little bit about myself.
So just to give you a little bit background about ourselves, these are our little bubbles. As you can see, this is my right-hand assistant on the picture here. I'm a very simple person. I just love to travel the world, go to music festivals. I have a special place in my heart for dogs. That's kind of like my little angel.
Me, after the service, after 4 years in the military, I just need a little bit like break for myself. I'm a huge fan of surfing, to go surf the world. I was traveling for 3 years all over the world just to go surfing and hiking. So basically we're normal persons, like normal people.
Ordinary people. With the raise of a hand, I just want to know really quick, who know what Israel is? Amazing. So just to give you a brief introduction. So Israel is the native indigenous land for the Jewish people. This is the simple term. Some people say state, some people say the nation of Israel from the Bible. Israel, by definition, is the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, right? As you can see, our little neighborhood is pretty crowded. Perfect.
So, one question. Who knows what happened on October 7? Please raise your hand.
Proud of you. So really quick and really brief, we're not going to elaborate about this too much. We know that you know, we were prepared, that you're very educated and very wise group of young people. On October 7th, we had an attack by Hamas organization. About 6,000 people blew up the border between the southern border between Israel and Gaza. Out of these 6,000 people, about 4,000 are civilians, non-combatants, civilians of Gaza that assisted Hamas to execute the attack on Israel. On that day, there was 10,000 rockets that were shot to Israel from 10,000 missiles from Gaza into Israel. About 1,200 people were murdered on that day. 251 were taken hostage from 23 countries. This is not only Israel, this is 23 countries. Nepal, Tanzania, Bulgaria, Romania, Austria, Germany, France, Ireland, United States, Israel, you name it. You drop a pin on the map, there was someone that was kidnapped from that country on October 7th or murdered. We want to give you a little brief idea what was it like for us as soldiers in the Israeli Defense Force.
As you can see over here on the bottom pictures, you can see on the right side, this is one of the settlement that really got like shuttered. On the right side, you can see, I don't know if you heard about the Nova Festival that took place like 1 kilometer from Gaza. It was like about 300, correct me if I'm wrong?
399 people, yeah.
399 people was dancing, living their lives. And as you can see right here, where you see the pictures of the faces of the people who were just like dancing there and unfortunately died.
So the Nova Music Festival, perfect. The Nova Music Festival was just one event where there was a massacre. 399 people who went to a music festival were killed, were murdered over there on the spot. Some of them were kidnapped. I want to take your attention really quick to the top two pictures. And I want you to be a little bit in our shoes. On the top pictures, you see the people that blew up the border. Usually you would assume that an army is fighting against an army. Soldiers from one side go to another side. But as I told you, about 4,000 out of the 6,000 terrorists who crossed the border that day were civilians, were dressed just like civilians. So I want to hand the ball to you, and I want to ask you, what would you do? As you can see on the picture, people are dressed as civilians. What would you do if you were in our shoes, seeing people dressed as civilians, not armed? Are they terrorists? If someone blew up the border and crossed into your country illegally and killing and kidnapping, but is dressed just like me and you, are they terrorists? And if so, how would you respond to them? And if they are unarmed, what would you do? How, with what cautious would you approach this situation? Now, as you can see, this is the moment of the kidnapping of Yarden Bibas. And on the left, I want to put your attention. You see there's one guy with a gun, and next to him, a 16-year-old civilian from Gaza who is running into Israel to loot, to murder, to take whatever they can. But he's a kid. He's 16 years old. Some of you here are 16 years old. How do we, as soldiers, should approach this situation? I mean, is he a terrorist? Do you arrest him? Do you shoot? Is he considered a terrorist according to international law? We don't know. It's very hard in a split second to take those decisions. when you're over there and people are dying and bullets are flying over your head.
As you can see over here, it wasn't just like for soldiers, only all what kind of citizen that was there. You can see like the babies, the Bibas babies, over here on the left side. Elderly. Also, kidnapping elderly people, a mom and her daughter, and remember the name, Dean?
Dalia. Dalia was kidnapped with her dog into Gaza and was in captivity for 60 days. So I told you that on that day, 10,000 rockets, 10,000 missiles were flying to Israel. 10,000 missiles in 24 hours is 416 missiles per hour, 6.9 missiles per minute, about 8 missiles per second. And just to give you an understanding how people in Israel live, I want you to understand how does it feel to have a missile every 8 seconds. So this is just to demonstrate to you, and Nadav actually he's living near the Gaza border. That's how the people that live in the south of Israel live every year, every day, and especially on October 7th. So I'm just going to touch this briefly. This is our neighborhood, and on October 7th we were attacked both from Judea and Samaria, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria. Iraqi militia joined the war, and Iran, which funding all this, and later on also started shooting ballistic missiles into Israel. So,
No. So, when everything started happening. So, actually that day on October 7, I was on a vacation in Israel, in my parents' house, in Ashkelon. As I told you, Ashkelon, it's right next to the border in Gaza. We're talking about like 7 miles, okay? I grew up to it. I grew up to this conflict. I grew up to these missiles, to this alert. So for me, it wasn't like something that I would say like unusual. I woke up 6 a.m. in the morning from the first alert. I was like, nah, again? Okay. Waking up, going to the shelter. The shelter is my sister's room. And just waiting. But that day, the alert didn't stop. Normally, 1 alert, 2 alerts, you can hear like a few explosions around you, and that's it. But that day, it took forever. I can hear like the alert going on for like 2 hours. Didn't stop. You can hear like hundreds of explosions around you, and it don't stop. So I understand that something is like unusual is happening. It's not normal. Now, from my military experience, I understand there's probably something happening in the south, because the same day we opened the news, you see nothing. No one talked about it. No one knew anything about what is really happening in the border, but we can assume that something huge is happening. Now, to be honest, I have 3 of my teammates that was there in the Nova Festival. If you remember the picture, it was there before. And they was about to come to my house for breakfast after the festival, and they didn't answer to my phone calls. So I actually decided to go and pick them up. But then my mom, she just came and say like, look, Nadav, you can't leave me here alone. Something is happening. There's all these rockets, all these explosions. I don't want to be here alone. Now, in my shoes, they were like, okay, there's 3 of my teammates right there in the border. I need to pick them up, but I can't leave my mom alone. So I have to listen to my mom, and I stay with her.
So I'll just briefly tell you about my experience. I was here. I'm a student at California State Northridge, And that day, I was just making food for Shabbat dinner because the time difference between Israel and here is different. As you can see, my second assistant over there is cooking with me. Whenever I cook, he's crawling between my legs like a vacuum cleaner, hoping for something to fall. And I'll just, if you can play the video. Yeah, so I actually didn't want to put that video here, but they twist my arm. They said, okay, you have to show what happened before October 7th. So I was just at home when I started receiving all the pictures and all the alerts that things are going in Israel. Guys, I started receiving all the text and all the alerts that the war is happening. I got some gruesome pictures from my brother who says, Din, you don't know what's going on in the south. And for me, I'm just going to tell you my personal experience. I was a student. I'm also a special forces fighter. And now I need to think, wait, do I leave everything in the middle of the semester and go back? Do I get an incomplete? Do I drop the class? What do I do? I mean, I'm in the middle of the semester. I have to make these decisions. I'm so far away, like 2,000 miles away, 3,000 miles away. I don't know whether I stay, whether I go. What do I tell my professors? Listen, there is a war. I have to go back to Israel. You know, like the decision is real. Like I'm a student just like yourself. What would you do if you know that your house is under attack, but you have school going on? You know, it's a very, very big dilemma. So what we had to do, we basically have to take our civilian hat, okay, and to put back the hat of fighters, of what we were trained to do, to protect our country, to protect the only democracy in the Middle East. So I finished my semester, I flew back, I joined my team. Nadav, if I'm not wrong, you joined your team right on October 7th, right?
Exactly. So as I told you, my mom asked me to stay with her. And I was staying with my mom for like 2 hours. And after like 2 hours, we already got like a picture of what is really happening in the south. And I understand that it was a good idea to not go to the festival because I couldn't even make it there because the Hamas really just like make an ambush for all the roads that was getting to these areas. But whenever my dad just came back, I told my mom, okay, mom, dad is here, I'm leaving, I have to go. And that we didn't get called yet, but we have like a tactics group, all my teammates, we're reservists, and we decided, just took ourselves, go to the unit, took whatever we can, and just go to the south and see what we can do to help, okay? So we made it to the unit. I think we made only 8 of our teammates. We were there, we found whatever we found. It wasn't even our gear, other weapons, not my shoes, not my uniforms, whatever we could get, we just wear that, jump on the jeep, and just drove to the south.
So basically, this war had 2 missions. The only 2 missions of this war. Israel was forced to go into war for survival, and the 2 missions were to eliminate Hamas, the terror organization that is murdering us, and to bring back our hostages. That's it. There's no intention on our end whatsoever to go and take over the Gaza Strip. We gave it back in 2005. We don't want it. Take it. It's yours. We don't have intention to engulf 2 million people into our country. We don't want that. You are free people. Just stay out of our way, live your life, and don't kill us. That's it. These are the 2 statements that you have to remember. We need to eliminate Hamas, and we need to bring back our hostages. That's it. So, as I told you, we're approaching, when we went into Gaza, we're approaching a population that is very difficult to deal with. So when we went into Gaza, we have to be very mindful. We have to be very cautious with how we operate. I know that it's very different than what people see today on social media, but social media has this tendency to show you little parts, take your attention for 30 seconds and ignore the complete story. We went into Gaza and these are the things that we experienced. So the first video on the left, please.
كيف؟ ايوه ما نسمع؟ اكبر منها؟ شو اسمك؟ انا؟
زي اسم ابوي.
ابوي؟
لا
لا لا.
Those are the type of things that you won't see on social media, because social media wants to get your eyeballs constantly staring at the disasters. But what I want you to have in your mind is, I want you to remember those moments where we went inside and we saw kids. And listen, we're human beings. We are not going there to kill anyone. We saw kids. We're not going to kill kids. We're not there to arrest these kids. We played with these kids soccer. Because you're coming with all your weapons, you're coming with all your heavy machines and armored vehicles, and you see a group of kids, what are you gonna do? Just run over them? No. Who does that? So they play soccer, we had a time, we played with them, because this is who we are, those are our values. The second video, please.
وي تعال يا
So basically what I want you to see here is we found dogs that we had to rescue that were abused inside Gaza. We had dogs, as you can see in the middle picture, over here, dogs that were taken from families that live near the Gazan border that we actually rescued and returned to their families. So I want to talk a little bit more about this part, because this is maybe the most important part. We have here children's room. As you can see on the left, we entered into a home in Gaza. And in that home, as you can see, it's all pink, there's Snoopy on the wall, and the guy that we arrested over there, Hamas terrorist, had swastika on his arm. But what's more important is when we go into this room of that little girl, we open one of the tiles, and that's what we found. AK-47s, RPGs, magazines, hand grenades. Why would ammunition be hidden under a children's room, under a children's bed? Now, two options I want to give you. One, they were thinking, oh, this is not the place they are going to look for, right? So they hide it over there. The other option is the people who did it actually did it by force. So they forced the family to be there, and the family was forced to stay in that room. So if we have only these two options, what does that tell you? What is the bottom line here? The bottom line is that this is a use of a civilian population, whether it was intentional or whether it was by force, to use civilian population as human shields for ammunition. So now I want to put you in our shoes and ask you, what would you do if you were the IDF? If you knew that there is equipment that is meant to kill as many Jews as possible, as many Israelis as possible, what would you do? If it's in a children's room, would you go inside and take it? Would you have a fight with the people who are hiding in these places? Terrorists that are in the most disgusting way hiding in children's room because they know that if we bomb over there, then kids will be dead, and then, oh, Israel is the bad guy. But why are they there in the first place? These are the dilemmas that we need to deal with when we enter every home with that precaution in mind, like maybe there are civilians over there.
Children's room, Shmuel. Kalash, grenades, vest. Laban, Elam Laban.
So I'm going to be touching this really quick. We entered to a school, as you can see, just much like your school. And what we found was on one wall, Smurfs. You know, very children-y. And then you continue with that wall and you see a tunnel that goes 30 meters underground. And we found evidence that they actually brought some of the hostages over there and tied them, and they were hidden there for a couple of days. What school system hide hostages 30 meters underground? What school system teaches Hitler, Mein Kampf, Hitler's diary, in Arabic to its children? And what chance of peace and hope do we have if this is what children are learning in their school? If they're being raised on a murderous ideology such as this one. So, how can you help, and why is it important to stand with Israel? I think this is perhaps the most important part.
So, first of all, from the Bible, God's covenant with Abraham is still relevant today. Okay? I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all people on earth will be blessed through you.
The second one I want to talk about is the fact that we are sharing the same values. Judeo-Christian values is something that is protected in Israel, and we as Jews, we believe in freedom of religion, much like the US believe in freedom of religion. We respect human life, as you see. We go into Gaza and we see children and we have to play with them because we're not going to do anything to children. We see dogs and we care for their life. Life are protected. Life is important. And this is something that unfortunately the people on the other side don't share. They don't share the same values as we do. We protect life while they are using life as a human shield, because the cost of life for them is nothing. Why would you hide grenades under children's bed if you value children's life? Simple. Now, I also want to talk about this really quick, which is Israel protects all faiths. And I want you to understand that the direct attack on Israel is a direct attack on Christianity. So in mathematics, I'm sure some of you here are going to be doctors. If z equals 5 and 5 equals x, then x equals z, correct? Right? Amazing. So when they're attacking Israel, they're actually attacking Christianity. One of the stories that I want to tell you is about my grandfather, who took me to the room of the Last Supper, as you can see on the bottom right. The room of the Last Supper was occupied by the Ottoman Empire between the years 1500 to the 1900. When the room of the Last Supper was under the hands of a Muslim empire, it was converted into a mosque. Unfortunately, what we see is when there is an Islamic regime controlling the Holy Land, which is holy for all faiths, there is an attempt to erase our shared history. That's why this is not just about Israel. This is an attempt to erase all our faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and other religions that coexist in Israel.
The reality of the threat, radical Islamic groups seek to destroy Israel and everything we stand for, including democracy. You can see how they're doing their protests all over the world, if it's in Europe, even the US. Not even just burning Israel flags. You can see all of the US flags It's not only about Israel, it's all over the world.
So, how can you help? First of all, show up to your Jewish friends. It doesn't take a lot, and we appreciate so much when you come to your Jewish friends and you tell them, hey, is everything okay? I heard so-and-so happened in Israel. Hey, is your family in Israel okay? I heard that there was rocket attack by Iran. These things may be small, but are that meaningful to us. Because, again, if you move to the next slide, perfect. So, we are only 2% out of the world population. So without you, we actually don't have a chance to fight and to survive this war. You know, we are 2% out of 0.2% of the world population and 2% out of the American society. So how can you help? Go and learn the facts. There are amazing organizations such as CUFI, such as Moral Hearts Alliance, Strong Voices for Israel. The more you know, the better you are helping us to be ambassadors of the truth. And one thing I want to say that I know for a fact you're all sharing over here is that you have the blueprint. You read the Bible, you go to chapel every week. This is the blueprint. When people are trying to distract you from your track, they can't, because you know the truth. So I want you to hold to it in times like this where destruction is all around and the world is under chaos, because that's what will get you far away. And I think that maybe the most important part is if you see something, say something. And the reason why I can't emphasize this enough, it's because this is Isaiah 61 verse 1. I want to tell you how important that is, that even if you just walk in the street or you're on social media and you see someone saying something that is a complete fallacy, that it's completely wrong, just show up and like, hey man, I met these two amazing dudes from Israel, like that's completely not true. Like you have the whole facts wrong. I mean, yes, we're not that amazing, okay? But what I want to say is that the bottom line is that we really need you, and we need you to be there to speak up for us as well. So, I think, yeah, that's about us.
Can we hear it for one more time? Okay, listen up.
So we're going to do one selfie with you guys, okay? Everybody